Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
You are going to get a kick out of this on a beautiful day in New York City. It is time for baseball as Kia presents the Wednesday game of the week. It's the New York Yankees against the Houston Astros in the rubber game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. Yankees got slapped around the first game. Yesterday, they come back. Hiroki Kuroda really struggled over the first three innings and then found it and got some offensive help.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't going to make it early in this game. He actually stranded 7 base runners, but all of a sudden the light bulb went on. He started to get that splitter down, getting some strikeouts. He actually had a season-high 8 strikeouts, and late in the game, Lyle Overbay, which looked like an insurance run on a changeup off of Brad Peacock, turned into a big run because the Yankees had to go to Mo Rivera for the last out in the ninth to save this one.
Well, that was their last game in April, so let's take a look at the cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. A good April for the Yankees when you consider all the injuries that they had. 16 and 10, about 4.5 runs per game, 36 home runs. That surprised everybody. The ERA obviously could be better, leading the pack offensively. The great Robinson Cano, 327, 7 homers, and 17 runs batted in. Let's look now at tonight's New York lottery pitching matchup. Veteran left-hander Eric Bedard will go for the Astros 0-2, 7.98. And the youngster David Phelps will go for the Yankees 1-1, 5.29. David, you've always told me that you like Phelps a lot.
Well, I do. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's got great demeanor on the mound, good control. He's not afraid of contact. He's hard to run on. He does all the little things well. And he never complains. He can relieve, he can start. Now it's time to find out if David Phelps can be a big league starter. I think he can. I think he's got the repertoire. Now's his opportunity, and he's earned it.
He has earned it, filling in for the injured Ivan Nova, so he'll get the start tonight. So will Eduardo Nunes, filling in for the injured Derek Jeter. He hasn't been hitting lately. Yesterday he did. Can this happen consistently? We'll talk with David about that next. Offensively, 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a run scored. Now he's gotten off to a bad start at the plate, so that only raised his average to 203. He has 4 ribbies. He's stolen 2 bases. Well, you know the deal. That's David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Kevin Long, the Yankee hitting coach, had told me, I don't care if he hits 220. He said the way he's fielding, that's what we were worried about. He's fielding great, but he's better than 202, 203. Yeah,
he's better, and he has to be better because of his speed. If he could just get on base, he could add so much to the Yankee offense just with speed. The thing about Nunes is, he's not noted for kind of having control of the strike zone. He'll go out of the zone. Those first 2 hits on balls out of the zone. This one's the good one. He takes the ball the other way. His balance looks much better. We've seen him get drilled a couple of times in the arm, and he looks a little out of balance at home plate. Last night he looked much better. He's always going to be a free swinger, but if he can get on base, then he can utilize that speed, and that's a whole different dynamic that the Yankees really need.
Oh, the Yankees would love it, and again, he's playing very, very well defensively, which is important as well. We're almost ready for baseball, the rubber game of this 3-game set. When we come back, lineups, first pitch baseball, next on Yes. Minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Kettle One. Gentlemen, this is vodka. Please drink responsibly. Beautiful day in New York City. Good day for a ball game. Yankees have taken the field trying to take this 3-game set from the Astros. And warming up on the mound for the Yankees in his first start of the year is going to be David Phelps. And this is the Astros starting lineup that he's going to face. Robbie Grossman in center field will lead off. Batting second and playing second, Jose Altuve. Jason Castro will catch. He'll bat third. Cleaning up first baseman Carlos Pena. Chris Carter, the DH, bats fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Fernando Martinez. Brandon Barnes in left field will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing third base, Matt Dominguez. And Marwin Gonzalez is the shortstop. He's going to bat ninth.
See David Phelps ready to go. The warm-up pitches are done. See the numbers on the year. 22 strikeouts in 17 innings. The ERA is a little high based on probably one bad outing. And let's give you the pitcher's scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's as humble as can be. I'll start, I'll relieve, no complaints. And the Fighting Irish star, Notre Dame. He's the second Notre Dame pitcher in school history to strike out at least 100 batters and record an ERA under 2. In the same season, 2007, that was Aaron Heilman, who was the other one. And first inning troubles. You got to get out of the gate. Learn how to start the game. As a starter, he's got an 8.18 ERA in the first inning and a 2.72 thereafter. So really, learning how to pitch that first inning is a key.
Ground ball to first. Overbay is there. He'll flip to Phelps. And there's one away. Let's check out the defense behind David Phelps. And since we've seen Overbay, we'll start with him. He's at first base. Canoa's at second. Nunes at short. And Nix is at third. In the outfield, we'll go left to right. Wells, Ichiro, and Francisco as Gardner just a day off. And the veteran Stewart behind the plate with David Phelps on the mound. Here's Altuve. .37 hits for Altuve, and that's tied with 3 others for the most in the major leagues at this point. They had 35 hits in April. That's the most ever by an Astros second baseman. This kid can play. Grinder, plays hard, does the little things right. They're going to build around him. The 1-1. Ground ball is short. Nunes. 2 outs. We said it was a beautiful day. Now let's get specific. The Game Time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 62 degrees, humidity 45%. The wind is 8 miles per hour. It is indeed a great night for baseball.
It's another gorgeous day in New York City, Michael. Walking around Central Park a little bit earlier today. Wow, it is just finally spring has sprung. Close to 70 degrees in Central Park today.
Tell me next time you're in the park, I'll walk with you.
It's good. We'll bring our babies.
Yes. Look at the two granddads with the babies.
Imagine that if they end up hooking up. Oh my.
No, I don't want to.
No?
I mean, no knock on Sammy. He's a good kid.
You won't let your daughter date my son?
Yes. I mean, you said hook up. I mean, dating's nice. The 1-0 is low. 2-0. Kid will have a lot of money.
Your career's longer.
How about that? A nice first inning for David Phelps. He retires the Astros 1-2-3. Astros nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat, and it took 10 pitches. This Yankee lineup, which is presented by Lexus. The center fielder leading off, Ichiro Suzuki. Jason Hicks at third base will bat second. Batting third, playing second base, Robinson Cano. Vernon Wells in left field cleans up. Batting fifth, DHing Travis Hafner, 17 ribbies for him. Ben Francisco has really struggled, trying to straighten him out. Right field will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, Eduardo Nunes. Lyle Overbay with the big home run yesterday. He'll play first base and bat eighth. And Chris Stewart is behind the plate, and he's batting ninth.
Ichiro's ready to go. So is Eric Bedard, the veteran lefty. Not good on the numbers so far this year. He's trying to sort of revive his career in Houston and give it one last go. We'll give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And welcome back to the Bronx again. It's his first appearance at the new Yankee Stadium. He actually made his major league debut at the old Yankee Stadium on April 17, 2002. See ya? Well, you know when Michael Kay says that, it's not good if you're a pitcher. And he's allowed 5 home runs in 11.1 innings as a starter this year. And hit the road, well, he's 0-2 also on the road this year with a 13.50 ERA and actually 1-9 with an over 10 ERA over his last 11 road starts.
And the pitch is high to Ichiro. These two are former teammates with the Mariners. Bedard has bounced around. He used to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. But arm woes have slowed him down. Still hanging in there trying to find it, but nowhere near the same pitcher. And the Orioles got rid of him at just the right time. You know, you talk about deals, you evaluate deals, and I always say, well, you have to really wait a couple of years before you can do it. That's one of the best deals that any team's ever made. The 1-2. They traded him on February 8th, 2008 to the Mariners. 5-for-1 deal. They got back Adam Jones and pitchers George Sherrill, Tony Butler, Chris Tillman, and Cam Michelayo. That's an outstanding deal. And Bedard was a bust for the Mariners.
Franchise changer for the Orioles, especially Adam Jones, playing center field every day. One of the best.
And David, 4 months into the 2009 season, he tore his labrum. So he was never the same pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. But when you're left-handed, you'll keep getting shots, and it certainly has the pedigree of knowing how to pitch. 1-2. Foul back.
See, Bedard was always a strikeout pitcher, too. Not only a left-handed pitcher with good stuff, but he's got over 1,000 strikeouts in his career, 1,063, and just under 1,100 innings. That big breaking ball, you can see his delivery kind of turns his back. He always was deceptive. He always had a real good curveball. But as Michael said, you know, the arm injuries have kind of curtailed the effectiveness of that snap curveball that he used to have.
That one is drilled deep to right center field. Martinez back. He's on the track. Looking up, it's off the wall. And Ichiro is flying, and he will head to third with a triple.
You see Ichiro middle, right there, right belt high, and he thinks maybe out of the box it's going to be gone, but somewhere between first and third, first and second rather, he just turns it on. Sound of the bat tells you what you need to know. Is it going to stay in the ballpark? And it does. Off the wall. Ichiro puts his head down, never hesitated.
So ground ball will give the Yankees the lead.
That's where he makes up his mind. He's gone. Don't need the third base coach. That's sort of a base runner like Ichiro with his skills can make up his own mind.
Put him straight away for Knicks. Infield is back, so they are giving up the run, of course, in the first inning. Count 2-0. Had to be humbling for Bedard to go to spring training as a non-roster invite. And he pitched well enough to make the team as the 5th starter. But clearly a case of how the mighty have fallen. Line drive, a base hit to left field. Ichiro scores. RBI single for Knicks. 1-0 Yanks.
Girardi, puts Knicks in the 2-hole tonight, and again, right down the middle from Bedard, out over the plate. Girardi's experimented with the 2-hole in the Yankee lineup all year long. Tonight, Knicks pays off early.
Here's Cano. Finished tied with Hafner with the most RBIs on the team for April, 17. And a strike.
Talk about a game of first, throw the first pitch over for a strike, score first, who draws first blood. The Yankees are 8-0 when they score first this year. Conversely, the Astros 0-13 when opponents score first.
Soft ground ball to second. There's one, and they turn 2. One pitch, 2 outs. Let's check out the Astro defense. In the outfield, you've got Barnes, Grossman, and Martinez left to right. Infield, Dominguez, Gonzalez, Altuve, and Pena. That right side's a pretty good part of the infield, and Castro behind the plate, Bedard on the mound. That brings up Vernon Wells. Count 1-0. Line into center field. Grossman is right there. That'll do it. But a triple by Ichiro and a single by Nix. We played one at the stadium, and the captain likes the 1-0 Yankee lead. April, despite all the injuries, and let's take a look at them. And it's brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. Derek Jeter, Teixeira, Cervelli, Nova, Granderson, A-Rod, Euclid, Pineda. That was a lot of talent on that injury report. And probably the closest to coming back is Curtis Granderson. Jack Curry gave good news on the pregame show that 50 at-bats, and he could be back here with no setbacks. Derek Jeter, they're saying sometime after the All-Star break. But when you look at this team's record at 16-10 with the amount of talent that's on that DL, it's pretty good. They're playing second and third line players and still getting it done. Teixeira is itching to get back, but Overbay has filled it nicely. You don't lose that much defensively, and he certainly hit better than they thought. Carlos Pena takes upstairs. There's a strike. A base hit to right center field. Pena makes a big turn as Suzuki gets it in. So leadoff single here in the second.
See Phelps trying to come in. Stewart wants it in, and it drifts right back out over the plate. You see the movement on Stewart's glove. Phelps has got good movement on that fastball, but one of the problems with that little two-seamer swing back pitch is when it drifts to the middle, it goes right to the barrel of the bat. Pena hits it hard.
Chris Carter takes outside. That clipped the outside corner. Corey Blazer, the home plate ump.
Michael noted about Chris Carter last night and his propensity for swinging through pitches and striking out a lot. We saw how strong he was last night off of David Robertson and then home run to right field. And I mentioned before earlier in the series, you know, Chili Davis, the former Yankee hitting instructor in Oakland last year where Chris Carter was, just raved about his strength of his hands. As you see the umpires tonight, Corey Blazer's behind home plate.
This should be 2. There's 1, and there's 2. 6-4-3. So 2 down.
Case in point right here, Michael. You take a strikeout over a double play. Clearly, the worst offensive play for any offensive player is a double play. Nobody likes to strike out. Can't put the ball in play, but it's not the worst thing that can happen. What just did is.
Strike to Fernando Martinez. Oh, 0-2. And the pitch from Phelps. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-2.
You know, knowing Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees, Michael, as well as I do, he's my catcher when I pitched. I know what he looks for in a starting pitcher. He wants somebody that he knows what he's going to get. Somebody who's consistent, start in and start out. You know what kind of stuff he's going to have.
Good fastball upstairs. Martinez chases for the final out. No runs to hit and nobody left on base. We're going to the bottom of the second with the Yankees up 1-0. Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Time Warner Cable. Get a full season of live Yankee games on the go for just $29.99. If you're a Time Warner Cable customer, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Here is Travis Hafner. And there's a strike. Starting to see Hafner play against more lefties. Ben Francisco has really struggled. And Hafner's done a great job. There's no other way to put it. More than they could have asked for in the month of April. Oh, 0-2. Doesn't seem like he likes 0-2 counts. Most hitters don't. But I don't know if it's to this extent. He's 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts when he's down 0-2 in the count.
Really, throughout Hafner's career, as you see, versus lefties, only 14 at-bats, really small sample size, but versus righties, just an animal. But his whole career, you know, the thing you don't mind is he doesn't get up in that Adam Dunn strikeout category. He's had a couple of times where he's had over 100 strikeouts, but he's pretty close to 100 walks as well.
1-2. That gets through Castro, 2-2.
People forget about Hafner. Hafner's run with Cleveland, he had about a 3 or 4 year period there where his numbers stack up with any DH in the history of the game, even Edgar Martinez type numbers. 40 home runs, over 100 RBIs, really high on base percentage, 100 walks a year. Injuries sort of derailed his career in Cleveland. A number of things, back injuries, and fractured hand, been hit by pitches. Really a tailor-made swing for Yankee Stadium at this point in his career. He may not drive the ball the other way like he once did 6-7 years ago, but 4 of his home runs here in Yankee Stadium have been right in the porch, right over the auxiliary scoreboard. So his swing at this point in his career, perfect fit for this stadium.
And he's worked the count from 0-2 to full. Ben Francisco on deck. Just got a piece.
You can sort of see with the veteran lefty Bedard that he no longer throws the ball 90 in the low 90s. He's in the mid to upper 80s tops, so you've really got to spot that pitch. There's not a lot of movement on his fastball. He's not really a two-seam guy. He was a power pitcher in his prime. You really got to pitch to lanes and spot that four-seamer on the edges.
3-2. And he walked him. Good at bat for Hafner. And that's going to bring up Ben Francisco. David, I'm sure you see the same things on Twitter. People want to know, why do they keep playing Francisco? Why do they keep running him out there? He's 3 for 29. Well, if he's on your team, you got to play him. Otherwise, he becomes a wasted player. And if you don't start him every now and then you can't expect him to come off the bench and be an effective pinch hitter. So you got to get him straightened out. He does have a history where he can hit.
He does, and I think the Yankees front office thought that he's got some pop in his bat too, and he's got a chance to hit some home runs. That was the difference between him and Juan Rivera, another choice the Yankees had in spring training. They felt Francisco gave him a better chance to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Still looking for his first one here as a Yankee.
Count 1-1. Saw a pitcher yesterday, Philip Umber. Now you see a veteran like Bedard, and you figure, well, why do the Astros need players like that? They're not going anywhere. Why would you waste starts with veterans? Because what you want to do is have them do well and then spin them and trade them for more young players. That's exactly what they're in the market for. If Bedard has a good first half, trade deadline comes around, who doesn't want a lefty? And that's how you build up your farm system. Get young players in return. The 1-2. Squib the other way. That is going to dunk. Foul. Just missed an extra base hit.
Well, when you're hot, this ball probably falls in. As you see, he kind of gets beat on this pitch. Fights it off. That's a good foot to a foot and a half foul. And a boot from the fan in the first row, too.
Count 2-2. Bedard was always known as an incredibly slow worker on the mound. And again, he goes full, first on Hafner and now on Ben Francisco. And if you're a slow worker when you have great stuff, you can imagine you're probably a little slower when your stuff isn't as good. And he walked him 2 straight walks to open up the second inning. And that's going to bring up Nunes. We told you on the open, 3 hits for Nunes yesterday. As he pushed his average over 200, he's at 203. But he's better than that. He's not all field, no hit. For a long time, people thought he was all hit, no field. But he said he's a better fielder this year because he doesn't have to concentrate on other positions. He knows he's playing shortstop.
I think, you know, what you'd love to see with a guy like Nunes is just a little more selectivity at the plate, a little higher on base percentage, maybe even lay down some bunts. Just try to find a way to utilize his speed. It's a very hard thing to teach a player that's already on the major league level to be more selective, to get on base, to work the count, because he's always been aggressive, especially early in the count. And he can go outside of the strike zone and get some hits. 2 of his hits last night were on pitches out of the strike zone.
So Bedard has lost the plate, the count 2-0, and 2 runners on because of walks.
You know, Michael, I asked Lou Piniella that question in Tampa. How do you handle a young player like a Nunes who you want to be more selective, get on base, get some walks? And he said he'd give him the take sign. He would just give him the take sign, not every time, but he would pick spots and make him take a strike.
3-0.
I thought that was pretty interesting coming from Lou, who's a very aggressive offensive manager when he managed. I'm not sure if Joe Girardi would employ that strategy or not, but it kind of makes sense if you think about it.
3-0. And he has walked the bases full. And that's going to bring up Lyle Overbay. And as he comes up, David's going to give you the Jeep hitter scouting report on the lefty.
Well, you can tell you what, he's starting to endear himself to Yankee fans, and picked him up at the end of the spring, and he's doing his part. I mean, he's got 4 homers, a .241 batting average, and 12 RBIs in 24 games played. Teixeira last year threw 83 at-bats, was .229 with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs, so that's not Teixeira's best numbers, but not much left. He's hitting .322 with 4 home runs versus right-handed pitching. He's been really dangerous against righties. Just 1 for 24 against lefties so far this year. And who would have thought it? I mean, Overbay's got a higher slugging percentage than Albert Pujols right now, Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Josh Hamilton.
Wow. So Doug Brocail went out to talk with Bedard, and Overbay has himself the bases loaded.
I got to give some credit, Mike. You know, we got Devin here helping us out, you know, our spotter and stats guy here, and he helped me with that Overbay.
That was an impressive scouting. Popped up, left side. Dominguez runs out of room.
Another Fordham guy over here, Mike.
They're all over. Can we get you into one class there so we can take credit for you too?
I would love to go to Fordham. I really would. I've heard so many good things about it. I know it. What a history, regardless of what Flash says.
Overbay, a 286 hitter with the bases loaded. Knocked 3 out of the park in these situations. He 0-1. 0-2. You have the bases loaded, nobody out, David. Are you, as a pitcher, resigned to giving up at least one?
Yeah, you're trying to limit the damage. The last thing you want to do is have a big inning. So if you can get a strikeout here, then you start to get a little greedy. But with nobody out.
Now you get greedy as Overbay goes down on strikes. Well, David, you said he struggled against lefties. He struggled right there.
Hey, you're coming up. He just walked the bases loaded, and it's 3 pitches, and you're going to sit back down. And that's what Bedard's always been able to do with that sweeping curveball, was to get strikeouts.
Here's Chris Stewart. A couple hits last night, 2 out of base runner as well. And that one's blocked by Castro.
Yeah, that throw that Chris Stewart made last night was just an outstanding throw. One of the best I've seen in this year so far, and really the last couple of years. A fast runner with a big jump, Altuve, and a slider that he had almost backhand. And what a quick release Stewart has.
Fly ball, shallow right center. Grossman makes the catch. Tagging is Hafner, and the throw is wide as Hafner scores a sac fly for Stewart, and it's 2-0 Yanks. Now you can dream about getting out of it without allowing just 1 run.
You know, at first blush, I wasn't sure this was going to be deep enough, especially with Hafner running. But the throw hits the mound, and it is wide right, and not even really close.
So Hafner got Stewart a ribby. Stewart's 3rd RBI. So 1st and 2nd with 2 outs, and that brings up Ichiro, who tripled and scored in the 1st inning. Really got off slowly. First 16 games, you go, he's getting older. Last 8 games, you forget how old he is.
Similar last year, too. Got a little lull, and then all of a sudden finished with a bang.
Rounded to first. And he's safe. Miscommunication between Bedard and Pena. And by the time Pena said, I'm going to take it, Ichiro says, no, I'll take a hit.
We'll give Ichiro a lot of credit for never giving in. He's going to run this ball out. And it's I got it, you take it. Oh, maybe me. No, nobody's going to get it. Bedard was there. Pena is the one with the indecision. And a little kick in the shin to your pitcher on the way back.
Well, that reloads the bases now and brings up Jason Nix. And Pena is a top flight first baseman. Nix singled in a run in the 1st inning, so a chance for another ribby here or 2. 1-0. Got that straight back, so he was right on it.
Good swing. Talked about Jason Nix and his brother Lance, also a big league ball player. Just one of 15 sets of brothers since the year 2000 to both homer in the big leagues on the same day. You got to believe they called each other after that day. count.
2-1.
Of course, down in Atlanta, it's the Upton Brothers show so far. As you see already, Paul Clemens, no relation to Roger, up in the bullpen.
You know, there's a derisive term that people say behind pitchers' backs when they're 5 and fly. It means they go 5 innings, have a lead, they're out, they let the bullpen do the work, they get their win. Well, Bedard wishes to be 5 and fly. He has not lasted more than 4 innings in any start this year. And he's thrown 31 pitches this inning. You've known some 5 and 5 guys, right?
Yes, and it used to be the worst thing you could be, you know, and back before people paid attention to pitch counts, or you were supposed to finish what you started back in the day. Nowadays, pitchers much more protected, but you still get a little bit of a rep of kind of scoreboard watching. Let me just get through the 5th inning, and you start looking out towards the pen. And
popped up. Altuve goes back. Martinez comes in. Altuve makes the play, and that will do it. So Bedard just gives up 1. We go to the 3rd. 2-0 Yanks. Who this is?
I do.
That's Pamela Curry, Jack's lovely wife. Jack married up.
He did. Did you give him your playbook?
We have shared it. It's a Fordham playbook. Here's Brandon Barnes, bottom 3rd of the order. 2-0 Yankees.
Seen that high fastball from Yankee pitchers against these Astro hitters all series long. Very effective in getting strikeouts.
Strike 3.
this is what David Phelps gives you. He can dot the I right there. You put the glove there, he's got the ability to hit the glove. It's not 95 miles an hour, but it's quick. It's got a little life on it. He's got excellent command.
Don't you get the sense, David, that he's better as a starter? He does okay as a reliever, but he seems much more comfortable in this role.
I think he's earned the right to find out if he can be a big league starter, the way he's handled himself. Sometimes he's almost a victim of his own versatility, that he can start or relieve, and you had Ivan Nova ready to go. So it's a lot easier to put Phelps in the bullpen than it would have been to put Nova in the bullpen. So you see Nova's on the DL now. Triceps problem in his pitching arm. Sometimes you become a victim, you know, of being able to do more things, being able to start or relieve. But yes, I agree. You know, I was mentioning it before in the last inning with 2 outs. Joe Girardi, these are the kind of pitchers he likes. Somebody that's reliable. You know what you're going to get. He's going to have good control. He might get hit here and there, like every pitcher, but it's not going to be a wild night, or it's not going to be a night of, boy, I just didn't have it. You know, my control was way off. He's always going to be around the plate. He's very reliable. You know what kind of effort you're going to get from Phelps. Girardi, believe me, that's the type of guy he wants. And Rothschild as well, the pitching coach. You know what to expect. You can anticipate what you're going to get.
As a starter, 2-2, 3.77. As a reliever, you know, the numbers don't indicate that he's not as good as a reliever. This year, he has not pitched great out of the bullpen, but overall, 28 games, 3.49. So those numbers do not support my argument. Grounded to third. Nix is there. But you saw how he pitched as a starter in spring training, and he and Nova went nose to nose and really both pitched well. I think, as you said, victim of his versatility, but he's given up some hits out of the bullpen this year.
No, I think you would probably say Nova with the upside potential because of his stuff. You can get the ball in the mid-90s and got a real snapping curveball. It's just the consistency and the command that's really hurt Nova. From start to start, you don't know, if he's going to carry his stuff over. With Phelps, very consistent in terms of command, control, very good demeanor on the mound too.
Pitch to Gonzalez is low, 1-0. So Phelps gets the ball and wants to throw the ball, works quickly.
Gotta love that. Michael, when you talk about the draft, David Phelps was a 14th round pick in the 08 draft.
Nix. And that will do it. 1-2-3 inning for David Phelps and the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the third. Yankees are leading this 1-2-0. Yankees.com/Prius to enter for your chance to win the Yankees Prius plug-in. Here's how we started the conversation. Is it necessary for teams to have at least one left-handed pitcher in their starting rotation? Why or why not? And Anthony Scotto said yes. It creates balance and forces opposing teams to change lineups, creating better matchups. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. Cano takes the strike.
Well, we know what Al Leiter would think about that, being the lefty that he is.
And he would say it like that. Yes. Lincoln scoreboard 2-0. Al will be with us over the weekend with the Oakland Athletics coming to town on Friday. The 0-1. 0-2. Cano wrapped into a double play in the first inning. Now, we talked at the beginning of the game about Hiroki Kuroda, how he really did struggle, but he left 7 runners on base over the first 3 innings. So obviously he got tough when there were guys on base. So Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach of the Yankees, said, let's pitch out of the stretch, even when there's no on base. And Kuroda didn't really want to, but said, since he told me to do it, I did it. Why doesn't a starter want to pitch out of the stretch?
Well, I agree completely. You shouldn't fight it. I think sometimes there's a comfort level with a windup. There's a sense of rhythm and timing and deception with a windup. But we've seen Yu Darvish in his almost perfect game this year go to the stretch almost the entire game. And from my perspective, it's a great adjustment to make in the course of a game. I wish I would have done it more in my career when I was struggling. It's a great suggestion, and it paid off for Kuroda.
Is it a great suggestion because it keeps everything compact? There are fewer things that could go wrong?
Yeah, there is, because your shoulders are already squared up to your target from the stretch position. From the wind-up position, as you see, the shoulders have to turn. So why not just go ahead and get your shoulders squared to the target, simplify things, pick up your leg, and drive to home plate? It's a much more simplified version. As you see, Bedard's got to do a drop step, he's got to turn, and he's got to time all that movement from the windup.
The 0-2. Driven deep to right field. Martinez back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. See ya! Solo home run Cano. 3-0 Yanks.
This is going to be the 8th home run of the year for Robinson Cano, and he stays in and digs out that curveball. Really went down and got it down and away and just hooked it right into the porch.
And take a look at the swing on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Even in slow-mo, that looks great. And that home run ties our good buddy Paul O'Neill on the Yankees all-time home run list. 17th place, the 1-0. 2-0. He's now tied with the Warrior at 185. Next up, the hitting coach for the Marlins, Tino Martinez. And in terms of franchise ribbies, he now ties Elston Howard, and next up is Tino. It's kind of neat when you move up on all-time Yankee lists, because it's like a roll call of baseball greats. I mean, every single name there you recognize, and there's a picture you have in your mind of what that guy did and the greatness of that player. So when you move up on that list, that's an impressive list to hit. A lot of those numbers belong to the players on those lists. Strike 3. Ball's down looking.
It is the ultimate measuring stick, without a doubt. The beauty of the Yankee franchise, the tradition. We have a chance to get your name mentioned with guys like Lou Gehrig. Never forget the day that Derek Jeter passed Lou Gehrig on the all-time Yankee hit list. Almost as important as his 3,000 hit.
Here's Hafner with one out. Yankees building a picket fence on the scoreboard, one in each inning. And that's a high pop-up. Pena leans in and comes out with the baseball. Very polite fans there.
Well, Pena plays this right. Get there. Don't take your eye off the ball. Feel for the wall with your hand. And the fan just kind of a little late getting there. Because actually, when you're reaching in the stands, the fans have a right to get to that ball. It's not as if the fans obviously can't reach over the wall. And Hafner, a little body language, looking for an assist from the fan as well.
Count 1-0 to Ben Francisco. He walked in the second. 2-0. Driven deep to left field. Did he get enough? Barnes back. Track. Wall. Leaps. See ya. Home run. Ben Francisco. And it is 4-0. Yankees. That's why you keep sending him out there.
Might be the biggest home run he's hit in his career. Bedard trying to bust him in. Francisco beats him to the spot and hits it in the right part of the ballpark, right down the line.
Pitch to Nunes is inside. Well, that has to feel good. 3 for 29 so far this year. That's his first home run and first ribby. Count 1-1.
You can almost hear him exhale up here.
Grounded sharply and grabbed there by Dominguez. From his knees, fires. And he gets Nunes sliding in for the final out of the third. But a couple of solo home runs, one by Cano, one by Francisco. Yankees lead 4-0. 866-NY Quicks for free help today. Who are the only two players in Major League history with over 10 career wins as a pitcher and over 50 home runs? You know who this is? That's another part of the quiz.
I do.
That's our boss's wife, John J. Filippelli's lovely wife, Jenna. Another guy who married up.
Indeed, and also the one of the board members of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Connecticut chapter, and does a great job with that particular fundraiser every year.
Grounded foul. Well, Phelps has faced a minimum 9 batters over the first 3 innings. He did give up a hit to Carlos Pena, lead off the second, but quickly erased on a double play. So Robbie Grossman will start it off. Robbie 4 for 30 so far this year. Count 0-2. Just missed inside. He swings and misses. Ball gets away from Stewart. He fires to first, and a beautiful scoop by Overbay as they nail Grossman for the first out.
Stewart's upset with himself because he didn't get in a blocking position. He tried to pick this in the dirt, but hustled and got rid of it, and Overbay picks him up on the other side with the backhand. Good hustle from Stewart. Overbay's always been able to pick it at first.
Altuve takes a strike.
Talked about this Astros lineup and the Yankees' approach pitching to them. Aside from the first game when they got beat around a little bit, but it's kind of been an approach-driven stat. You know, to me it is. You know, 26.3% of all their at-bats this year have ended up in a strikeout, and that's far and away the highest percentage of anybody in the major leagues.
That one's laced in the center of base hit. So Altuve gets a single. MLB.TV is celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV baseball everywhere. Both Dave and I have that. It is really great. If you're a baseball fan, wow, it's tremendous.
Well, you know, arguably the best platform in all of major sports.
There should be a shout out for Baseball Advanced Media, because when you go to MLB.com, you can get highlights from any game, any team that you root for in another city. It really is tremendous, and they do a great job. Started it from scratch.
Not only did they start it from scratch, but it's potential to be a real revenue driver. And that's something that teams like the Astros can share in. You know, going down, the more that grows, it's another revenue stream created that can be shared equally among all the small markets and all the teams in general. So it's sort of a let's grow the pie instead of argue over the slice of the pie, Michael, which was what led to labor strike back in the mid-90s.
Squibbed the other way, and it gets past Nix and rolls down the left field line. Altuve is at third. They're going to stop him right there. It's a double for Castro, and the Astros with their first threat, second and third, one man out.
Nix almost just off the web. Would have been one heck of a play to come up with that. Castro inside out, slicing line drive away from Nix.
So Pena could pick up a ribby with a ground ball. And the shift worked, although the ball was booted by Nunes. That'll be a base hit. Run scores. Castro moves to third. Astros on the board at 4-1 Yanks. And that shift worked to perfection, but he just could not handle the hot shot.
He does. You know, Pena hits the ball hard, and you got a kind of a funny help off the mound as that ball kind of went off the front of the mound and then picked up some spin. Nunes is there in plenty of time. Just couldn't get the glove on it. Got the web on it, but not the heart of the glove.
All right, first and third now. Here is Chris Carter. Fouled away. Now Carter has power, as we mentioned, but he's a nice landing spot for a pitcher who can hit his spots because he will give you the strikeout. That clipped him. Just got him. Carter didn't even want to leave, but he goes to first, hit by pitch, and that loads the bases.
Well, Phelps trying to bust Carter in because he knows how strong he is when he gets his arms extended, and just a nick on the thigh, maybe just a uniform on the way by.
So at 4-0, looked like it was going to be a nice night. Now 4-1, bases loaded, and this becomes a big spot early in the game. Fernando Martinez steps in.
Talked about the Astros approach and their propensity for striking out. And when they do put the ball in play, collectively their batting average is .331, which is second best in the big leagues to Boston. Kind of a divergence of numbers there, but they strike out a lot, but when they get their bat on the ball, their batting average on balls in play is very high so far. Part of that is a luck factor. A lot of sabermetricians talk about batting average on balls in play with regard to evaluating pitchers and hitters for that matter. Still a small sample size. We still have a little over 80% of the season to play, with April now under wraps.
Count 2-2.
See Phelps take a shot at a strikeout here. I think you'd like to make it happen on this pitch. With the bases loaded, you don't really want to go to 3-2. You'd like to get a good quality strike down in the zone, try to get a ground ball.
2-2. And he hit him. That's going to force in a run. Second straight hit batter. And now at 4-2 Yankees.
Stay in there, okay? Let's go.
And Larry Rothschild wants to slow things down.
He just pulls this ball down and in. He's trying to get the swing back fastball. And Martinez takes one for the team. No real effort to get out of the way. But a little bit of a misfire on Phelps' part as well.
Now, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Bases still loaded. Still just one out. Martinez gets an RBI and a bruise. And that'll bring up Brandon Barnes. Count 1-0. lost the zone just a bit. Count 2-0. Single, double, single up the middle, hit by pitch, and that's 2 runs on the board, threatening for more. Boy, he really helped out Phelps right there. That was ball 3. Now it's 2-1.
As you see here on a 2-0 pitch with the bases loaded, a slider. A lot of confidence from Stewart and Phelps to throw that pitch in that situation, and a little help, as Michael said, from Barnes.
Fouled away.
Phelps, after cruising through the first 3, now up to 56 pitches here, 1 out in the 4th. Once again, would like to make it happen on the 2-2 pitch if possible. Be the 23rd pitch of the inning.
Let's see if the Yankees could turn 2. There's 1. Quick release. Back to first. Not in time. Run scores. It's 4-3 Yankees. So Barnes beat the return throw from Cano to keep the inning alive and pick up a ribby.
Well, it is a good pitch on the 2-2. A good slider down. You got the ground ball. It just wasn't hit hard enough. And Barnes with the in vogue play of the head first dive that's really unnecessary, but can't fault the effort of the hustle. But dangerous play on Barnes's part. Crash landing. You love the guts. You wonder about the wisdom.
Here's Matt Dominguez. And it's a tie ball game. Just like that, 4-0 becomes 4-4 as Dominguez picks up an RBI single. Carter crosses the plate.
Dominguez just going to reach out and poke this ball to right field. A little slider, pretty decent location. Just great approach from Dominguez. Sitting on it, looking out away, and just a little poke in the hole.
Almost took Barnes' head off. So the Astros have now batted around as Marwin Gonzalez, the 9th batter to come to the plate. A strike. This team has come into New York and they have not played like an 8-19 team. They blew out the Yankees in the first game. They were battling yesterday. Now down 4-0. Could have easily packed their bags, headed for home for a nice long homestand that's coming up, but they put a 4 spot on the board here in the 4th inning. That's the one thing they say about Bo Porter. He has his team playing hard with enthusiasm. One and two.
You got a chance to come into Yankee Stadium and win this series tonight. They had a great first game. A little disappointed last night. But a real confidence builder chance for Bo Porter and these Astros to come into Yankee Stadium, take 2 out of 3.
Yankees don't have anybody up in the bullpen. They trust in Phelps to get this final out before any more runs score.
Well, there's no doubt when you evaluate the Astros as a team right now, their hitting, their offense is ahead of the pitching. Their pitching has really struggled so far this year. last in a lot of categories of the major pitching categories. Offensively, middle of the pack. Even though we showed, they have a propensity to strike out a lot. We've got some guys that can put it in play too. See Phelps with a long inning here. It's going to be pitch number 30 coming of this inning.
Time was called before the pitch was delivered. These guys have been through the wars, obviously, in order to get out of these types of jams. Although Andy didn't have much success in the first game of this series. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and that will do it. But 4 runs for the Astros. They leave 2 runners on base. A rough inning for David Phelps. 4-4 game. Who are the only 2 players in Major League history with over 10 career wins as a pitcher and over 50 home runs? After the pitch, we'll find out.
Well, one's pretty easy.
And who is the one?
You'd have to think Babe Ruth, right?
And the other one is Rick Ankiel.
Nice. Good question. Babe Ruth was a great pitcher. Probably would have been a Hall of Fame pitcher had he continued.
Yeah, both of those pitchers took different paths to the home runs.
I got to believe going out with Babe Ruth in New York City one night would be on anybody's bucket list.
Looked like he enjoyed himself every day.
Did not get cheated. David Wells tried to emulate him. Did his darnest too. He gave it a good effort.
Wore his cap one day.
That was funny. David Wells bought a Babe Ruth worn cap, game-used cap, and actually used it during a Yankee game. Started the first inning with it. Till Joe Torre made him take it off after the first inning. Whatever the fine was, it was worth it. Might have been that hat right there. It kind of looked like that hat.
Got a little grin on his face right there. 3-2. Driven to right field. Martinez back. He can't make the play. It gets by him and goes to the wall. And Overbay will stop at second with a leadoff double.
Overbay works the count to 3-2. Buys a fastball up and out of the zone. Probably would have been ball 4. Got on top of it and hooked it. Martinez with a good effort. Just misses.
You saw that Bedard was a little bit upset. And I'm wondering, David, you're on the mound and you know now that there are cameras everywhere. Do you have to fight the urge to show disgust at a play in the field?
It really takes some self-control, because when you're in the heat of the battle, you know, that's the last thing you're thinking about. Some players just show more emotion than others. I didn't view that as Bedard, you know, showing up as fielder or anything, but certainly the disappointment. But disappointment should have been on the pitch, because that ball was hammered. It wasn't as if it was a bloop that fell in.
You mentioned David Wells. It was an instance early in Derek Jeter's career that Wells was upset that a ball wasn't caught. And you know, Derek was a kid then and walked up and said, you know, we don't show disgust when you do something wrong. Don't ever do that again. And that was kind of his first step toward being a leader.
Without a doubt. You know, Derek was a born leader when he showed up. He handled himself so well as a rookie in 1996. And he was groomed to be the captain, destined to be the captain of the Yankees.
The 0-2. That one's popped up right side. Altuve on the outfield grass puts it away for the first out. So Stewart does not move the runner to third. Here's Ichiro. He's 2 for 2 today. One a booming triple to right center, and the next one just a hustle single. He grounded one deep to first and caught easily by Carlos Pena, but just beat Pena and Bedard to the bag. 1-0.
Just that fast. His average up to 286.
The 2-0. 3-0. First base is open. Not saying that he's intentionally walking, but he's not going to make it easy on him. Jason Nix is on deck. That's right.
Bedard's got a chance to have some new life here. It looked like he was not going to be lasting very long in this game. Gave up 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. Bullpen's already been up. Now you got to tie Wago. Got a chance to stay in this game.
Fly ball right center. Martinez will make the play. 2 outs. So Overbay still at second after a leadoff double. And that brings up Nix.
You know, I mentioned to you, Michael, about sort of evaluating the Astros at this point in the season. You know, it's really been their pitching. You know, they have accumulated a negative 1.9 WAR ranking, which 0 is about replacement player value. And is last in the big leagues, 30th, collectively pitching-wise. A lot of offensive, a lot of the sabermetrics offensively ranks them middle of the pack. You know, not as bad as you would think, even though they strike out a lot. It's really been their pitching that's let them down. Their whip is 1.63 collectively. That's by far the highest in the major leagues. lot of base runners for the Houston Astros this year that their pitchers have put on base.
David, it's the hardest thing to develop, hardest thing to draft. And when you finally get your pitching around, you're going to contend. It's hard to hit your way to the World Series. And if you look at the Yankees, they're 16-10. And, you know, their offense has been ravaged by injuries. Just great players out. And the reason they're 16-10 is they've gotten decent pitching.
Without a doubt. You know, the Yankees pitching has been excellent. I think has a chance to get better. I'll get into that next inning a little more. About evaluating the Yankees' first month from a pitching standpoint, looking at some of the metrics.
2-1. 3-1.
One of the keys to evaluating a pitcher is your strand rate. How many runners you leave on base. The Astros put a lot of runners on base. And their strand rate also last in the league. 68.7% left on base rate. Very low.
And Nix works a walk. Boy, you don't want to do that. Got the pitch to Robinson Cano. And that's exactly what Bedard just did. You're just joining us in the third inning. This is what Robinson Cano led off with. It's his 8th home run of the year. 18th ribby. And Castro wants to talk things over with Bedard. And there's some action in the Astros bullpen. Bo Porter, first-year manager with the Astros, and Clemens is up again. Spent 2 years as the third base coach for the Washington Nationals. Learning under Davey Johnson. Not a bad class to take.
Veteran pitcher knows what's at stake here. You can see Bedard look over his shoulder, see who's warming up, look at the scoreboard. He knows he's on the ropes right here.
And a strike to Cano.
I like the first pitch. Here it is. Robbie hit it. Robbie took it right down the middle.
Fouled that one back to the screen. 0-2.
It's one of the best ways to attack a great hitter. Go right after him. Best chance you have to get him out is to get strike one. Now you got strike two.
Home run in the third inning for Cano was on an 0-2 count, so he's in that same spot right here. Now it's 1-2.
Now, normally for Bedard, lefty on lefty, in this count, in this situation, you would automatically go to that curveball, that sweeping, slurvy curveball that he's featured his whole career. But that's the pitch that Cano hit out the last at bat.
Over base at second, Nix is at first. 1-2 count on Cano. 2 outs. Bedard deals. Spoils that one and pops it foul.
I've had some games like this, Michael. 89 pitches in the bottom of the 4th. I know that feeling. A lot of deep counts, a lot of base runners. Yankees have 6 hits and 4 walks.
Time call. Rounded to third. Dominguez to first, and that will do it. So Bedard has worked 4. No runs a hit. 2 men left. After 4, 4-4. The Yankees, but also 4 runs for the Astros on the Kia scoreboard. Yankees had a 4-0 lead, but David Phelps gave up 4 runs in the top of the 4th inning, and that's where we stand. A lot of 4s, and it'll be the top of the order for the Astros as we move to the 5th. And in the 5th inning, we'll also be joined, and we are right now, by our colleague Jack Curry in the booth. Fouled away. If you forgot what Jack looks like, there he is. Got a lot of stuff in your notebook today, don't you?
A lot of stuff in the notebook. You know, Robbie Grossman, as he's batting right now, it does remind me when I finished my pregame hit, which is about a solid half hour before the game starts, this kid was already sitting in the dugout ready to go. Leading off the game, he was pretty excited about getting started for the Astros. But from a Yankee standpoint, Michael, a couple of injury updates. Granderson being a big one today. Joe Girardi mentioning that Granderson had a couple of at-bats in extended spring training, and people might say, only 2 at-bats. Did he have an issue? Is there a problem with the wrist? What happened is it started raining in Tampa, or else he would have had several more at-bats. So Girardi said it was very encouraging.
Robbie Grossman looks at the 3rd strike.
And he said that sort of starts the clock for Granderson, who had said he thought he'd need 50 at-bats to get himself major league ready. By getting a couple of at-bats today in spring training, he has started to make his way back. And as we said last night, it doesn't mean he's going to get 4 at-bats a day. They can accelerate this process in a simulated game or an extended spring game or maybe he'll have 6, 7, 8 at bats. So you're starting to talk about a reasonable time he's going to be back.
Can we be so bold and do the math and say he could be back in 10 days?
I would throw 2 weeks on it just because I think the Yankees are pretty cautious with everything, and I think that Joe Girardi said, hey, he may get to 50 and say, I'm not ready. I need 2 more games. Some of those.
Altuve hits one over the head of Nunes. So a base hit for Altuve.
Some of those at-bats, Michael, are obviously going to have to come in game situation, whether it's Tampa, Trenton, Scranton. He's going to have to face live pitching and be in a game, but with all the injury news the Yankees have had to report lately, this was some encouraging news that Joe Girardi got to report.
Now, we're also hearing that Teixeira might be more like June 1st, and he had really been aiming for the 8-week mark. Is that a setback for him?
I think, Michael, that you might want to call it a setback, but with every injury, you have to treat it as it begins to heal or not heal. Teixeira did say today that he took some swings in an indoor batting cage, so he's moving forward. I don't think you can say this guy has to be back by this day. It's their body that's going to tell them when they get back, and that's the latest with Granderson and Teixeira in terms of where they stand.
Now, I'll throw you a curveball because everybody's asking me this on Twitter all the time. What's the deal with Pineda? Is there a chance that we'll see him?
I think there's a good chance. I mean, Brian Cashman said in spring training that he thought by June that Pineda would be pitching in a game. So whether that means he's pitching in the minor leagues or he has graduated to the point that he can pitch in the major leagues. I mean, it's a full month away before we get to June, but what they have seen of Pineda so far, the velocity was good, simulated games in Tampa, they were pretty excited about his progress.
Top of the 5th inning, it's a 4-4 game. Runner on first with 1 out. Jason Castro with an 0-1 count at the plate. Now, yesterday the Yankees, because of all the injuries, this one to Euclid, called up Corbin Joseph, and people say, well, how come David Adams? And really, it was a clerical move because David Adams was released and re-signed, can't be called up until May 15th. A lot of people have asked me, what about the kid that we saw in spring training, Ronnie Mostelier? So what's the deal with him? Well,
Joe Girardi also gave us that info today. He's going to Scranton, so he should play at Scranton tomorrow.
Good move, and he gets Altuve leaning. Porter's wondering what happened. Altuve got picked off.
Takes quick feet from a right-hander to make this kind of move. And no doubt, good tag from Overbay. The advantage of a left-handed fielding first baseman. The throw's right there and a quick tag. And we've seen this from Phelps before. One of the best right-handed pickoff moves to first base in the game today.
1-1. 1-2.
You look at those feet, they remind me of James Shields. He has that same kind of quick pickoff move from the right side. But Mostelier is supposed to play in Scranton tomorrow, Michael, and he becomes a candidate then when he can work his way back, because he was fighting for a roster spot at the end of spring training when he had that bone bruise.
That one is lined in the left center field. It's a base hit. It's going to split the outfielders and roll to the 399-foot side. So a 2-out double for Castro. He's now 2 for 3 against Phelps.
Just makes that pickoff all the more important. Without the pickoff, that Altuve definitely scores on this double. And it's driven. See Stewart kind of set up down the middle for a breaking ball, and Castro goes down and digs it out. Drives that ball in the gap. No doubt double.
So what was wrong with Mostelier?
He had the bone bruise on his knee from colliding with the fence.
And that was kind of midway in spring training, right?
It was right towards the end of spring training. He was in the running for a roster spot. I mean, this guy can hit. Any Yankee scout that you talk to, they say the ball coming off his bat just sounds differently. And watching him in spring training, I could see what they meant. And whether or not he could play third base, that's what the Yankees were trying to figure out. But that was his position over in Cuba. Very bubbly guy. I think his spring training started to wear on. He realized that he was in the mix, and then the injury bug hit him, and he fell out of the mix.
All right, so everything lined up perfectly for Joseph, and I know that you're the type of guy that's going to have this information. I've never heard, well, I shouldn't say never. I've rarely heard that name Corbin. I've heard Corbin Burnson, so where's Corbin Joseph's name come from?
This is actually a pretty cool story. His father's name is Mark. When he was born, his mother was in room 711 in the hospital. You go to the Bible, Mark chapter 7, verse 11. The name Corbin is in that verse. And he said that's why his father and mother named him Corbin.
Wow. I knew you'd have something there. Pitches outside. 3-0. David, it seems like Phelps, after the third inning starting at labor, what do you think's gone wrong with him?
You know, he sort of lost a little feel for his command. Really, the last inning, it was the 2 hit batters in that fourth 30-pitch inning that really haunted him. And he was up in the count on that, too. But just, you know, Phelps has got to kind of be on the edges. You know, he's not a power guy, and he's got very good control. But when you get a little bit off, you start missing off the plate. That's what happened with especially those hit batters that last inning. 2 hit batters in 1 inning really kind of set up that crooked number, that 4 spot, tied this game up.
So that'll be marked down as an intentional walk to Pena, and that brings up Chris Carter. Carter was one of those that was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning, followed by Martinez that hit by a pitch. That one's outside, 1-0. John Kelly pitched in the 9th inning yesterday. He's up here in the 5th. 1-1. So first and second, 2 outs. It's a 4-4 game. This is the rubber game of a 3-game set. One. Strike. Just clipped the outside corner, 1-2.
Well, that's where Phelps lives, right on the edges, both with his fastball and his slider.
And the pitch. Right back to Phelps. And that will do it. So he works out of trouble. Jack Curry will stay with us. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We're halfway through. It's 4-4. Brought to you by AT&T. So that's going to do it for Eric Bedard. And the Yankees will get a look at the right-hander Paul Clemens. This will be his 6th game. And you see his numbers. They got a look in the first game at Lucas Harrell. And that's a guy that kind of want to build around. He and Bud Norris. They might not be ace-type pitchers, but they're serviceable. And I know that you talked to Lucas, right?
Very interesting guy. Chatted with him for about 10 or 15 minutes, Michael. And I have to tell David, first and foremost, he knows the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, as you had guessed.
David really guessed. That was all David.
David got that
report.
right.
Yep.
He was very excited when I told him that you had mentioned that on the air. But the kid gets it. You can tell by talking to him. He said, I don't have enough service time to sort of be the leader who walks around this clubhouse. But he said, that's one of the things we need. We need the veterans to kind of show the young guys. And he said when he came up, Mark Burley pulled him aside and said, this was while he was with the White Sox, said, follow me around, don't say anything, listen to what I do, and if we ask you a question, then you can talk. He said for 2 months he followed Burley around and he felt like he got a feel for what it was like to be a major league player. He didn't like that some of the guys on the Astros were on cell phones and on iPhones in the clubhouse. He said this is our time. This is our for chemistry and for camaraderie purposes. So very interesting personality.
Those are marching orders you got when you came up with the Royals?
It was, you just knew you had to play the rookie role back then because, you know, the veterans, it's a little bit of a lost art, although it's good to hear Jack tell that story because, you know, the veterans used to really get on the rookies and put them in their place.
High pop-up. That's the shortstop. Gonzalez, he'll put it away for the second out. Now, when Jack comes to the booth, I'll let you in to a little inside television. He'll give me sometimes a list of things that he has that if I can get to that you know he's got it covered. But one thing just jumped out at me, so I have to ask you. You have on this list, Ichiro has in common something with Monica Seles. I can't even begin to wonder what that is.
You know what? Yesterday I'm walking through the indoor batting cage, and Ichiro's taking batting practice from Kevin Long, and almost in unison, as soon as he swings, and I'm not going to do it on the air, you heard a grunt. Then he swung again, and you heard a grunt. It's like, So I did a little investigating, and I said, was this just an indoor batting cage thing? And they said, no, come by the batting cage today. So I went to the outdoor batting cage as he was taking BP today, and every time he swings, whatever it is in the exertion that he is giving, he lets a grunt go, and it reminded me of Monica Seles when she played tennis every time she swung that racket. So that's the answer to that question, Michael.
Gardner is pinch hitting for Ben Francisco. I wonder if Ichiro knows who Monica Seles is.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Very worldly guy, big-time sports fan. Go on YouTube and see when he met Michael Jordan for the first time, and he was just a young up-and-coming player. Worth a look.
Here's the 1-1. Gardner shows a bunt, but takes high.
I liked your grunts there, Jack. That was good. You ain't trying if you ain't grunting.
Got to give it 100%.
Did you grunt when you threw a pitch?
No, not really. No. Nolan Ryan did. I'll tell you that though.
Yeah, I heard that
later in the game. It was intimidating because he got louder as the game went on.
Count 2-2.
And by the way, Michael, the way Ichiro is swinging got him the nod today over Gardner. Joe Girardi said he was thinking about giving Gardner a day off against the lefty anyway, and it helped that Suzuki's been swinging the way that he's swinging. He wanted to go with the hot hand. Gardner was asked before the game, are you okay? Is this just a day? And he said, I'm fine. I'm healthy. I'm ready to play. Just the game of the day.
And he swings and misses. So he's going to get a half day off because he pinch hits here in the 5th and strikes out. Thanks, Jack. We'll hear from Jack on the postgame show. And we go to the 6th inning. It's 4-4. The Kia Optima Limited Midsize Sedan. Elegance, performance, technology. All right, we go to the 6th inning. It is all tied at 4-7-0 for the Astros and 4-6-0 for the Yankees. And Fernando Martinez will lead it off against David Phelps. Couple of changes for the Yankees. Brett Gardner pinch hit for Ben Francisco, so he takes over in center, and Ichiro, who was playing center, moves over to right to replace Francisco. Grounded up the middle and past the diving Cano into right center field. So leadoff single for Fernando Martinez. Now Boone Logan is up. Here's Brandon Barnes.
Imagine, you know, in David Phelps' first start here, even though normally 85 pitches is not a red flag, but for him, he's probably going to be on a little bit of a shorter leash than he'd normally see from starters. That's why you see Boone Logan up. Interesting to see how this inning plays out and how far Girardi lets him go. I would imagine 90 to 100 pitches in your first start.
Now, it did get stretched out in spring training, but that it's kind of like elastic. It will go down because you haven't thrown that during the season as a reliever.
Yeah, there's stretched out, and then there's really stretched out. And certainly he's stretched out to give you, 85 to 100 pitches, and he may go to 100, but not much further in your first start.
Bunted, fielded there by Phelps. Sacrifice successful, 1-4 as Martinez moves into scoring position. Well, let's check out the McDonald's upcoming schedule. Tomorrow's an off day. Yankees haven't had one in a while. Then 3 games against the A's. 7:05 start on Friday. Then 2 afternoon games starting at 1:05 Saturday and Sunday. Travel day on Monday as the Yankees head to Colorado for 3. And then 3 in David's hometown, Kansas City. All of those games on Yes.
I will be there eating barbecue.
Dominguez with a high fly ball. Suzuki makes the play for the second out. Now, when you go back to KC, do you sleep in the room that you grew up in, or do you stay in a hotel?
I stay in a hotel.
Okay. Does that room still exist? Your parents still live there?
No, they don't.
Okay.
That house was sold. All my family still lives in Kansas City, so I'll make the rounds and see everybody. But I'll stay in the team hotel.
Well, Joe Girardi says, okay, 87 pitches. That's quite enough. And I'm going to call on the left-hander. So for the most part, a decent outing for Phelps. He ran into trouble in the 4th and the 5th, and we'll come on back. on the A's. The first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees jersey keychain courtesy of New York Presbyterian Hospital. Now, for tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. A beautiful night for baseball, and it's 4-4, top of the sixth inning. Runner on second base, 2 outs. David Phelps now becomes a spectator as the Yankees call on the left-hander Boone Logan. Logan is 10th game. 10 base runners in 6 and 3rd innings. And 7 strikeouts. And he will face Marwin Gonzalez.
If you're a starting pitcher, Michael, sitting in there, that's your run on second base in a tie game. So you're hoping Boone Logan can pick you up right here.
Drops a breaking ball in for a strike.
Boone Logan's been very good in the past, but so far this year a little bit rocky in this situation. Out of 8 base runners inherited, 5 have scored so far.
The 0-1. Grounded to third. Good hop for Nix. He steadies, fires, end of the inning. And Logan comes on and strands the runner at second. So the numbers are all done for Phelps, but the game, well, we're still rolling. We'll take a look at the starting pitching matchup, brought to you by Verizon Fios Quantum Internet, technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. A.J. Griffin will go for the A's against C.C. Sabathia. It all begins at 6 with the BP show. Pre-game show's at 6:30, and first pitch will be at 7:07 right here on Yes. 4-4, bottom of the 6th. Paul Clemens in for a second inning of work. Nunes will lead off. 95-mile-an-hour fastball strike. Popped up behind the plate and out of play.
You got to kind of like it if you're on the Astros side to see Clemens come in and just kind of firing mid-90s fastballs very aggressively.
And the right-hander deals the 0-2. Line drive, and it is a base hit. It'll go into the corner. Nunes loses the helmet, but picks up a double.
Maybe a little too aggressive on an 0-2 pitch, but not bad. Nunes just beat him to the spot on an inside corner pitch. And of course, the helmet's gone, and Nunes is standing up with a double. You know, they used to say, Michael, that Willie Mays wore his helmet one size too big because he thought it made him look faster when he was running the bases. Nunes looks fast. That helmet has taken a beating this year, as you can see, the scuff marks.
Here's Overbay. At worst, they want him to pull the ball and move Nunes to third. Down 1-0. You know, David, I want to remind you, it said that you were going to evaluate the Yankee pitchers, how they could get better.
Yes, you know, I'll wait till the Yankees are pitching again in the next inning. But, you know, I talked about the Astros, you know, the base runners. You know, WHIP is walks plus hits, innings pitched. And I mentioned that number. You know, 1.63 is the highest rate in the major leagues. The Yankees have had a lot of base runners again.
That one gets away from Castro, and Nunes is so fast. He is there on the wild pitch.
Well, that takes a load off of Overbay's mind. He doesn't have to get him over now. As Nunes is going to get him over, and right at the last minute, I thought the helmet might stay on here, Michael. He had a chance to stay on. It's bouncing. Well, he is fast. Maybe that bouncing helmet makes him look faster, like Willie Mays. It's nice to see him on base and running the bases. He's so dynamic, so talented.
He's a weapon. He really is. Just has to get on base more.
Very aggressive base runner, and he doesn't hesitate in stealing situations as well.
3-0, and the Astros will bring the infield in, try to cut off the run here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 4-4 game. They turn him loose on 3-0, and he doesn't even get a fastball. He gets a change.
It's okay. If you're Overbay, that's what you were looking for. You got beat by a changeup, that's all right. The good 3-0 swing in there. And nice to see him get turned loose on 3-0 as well.
So he does get the walk. And the Yankees have runners on the corners, nobody out. And Chris Stewart coming up. And Bo Porter out to the mound to talk with Clemens as Wesley Wright warms up.
There's a lot of different metrics you can look at when trying to evaluate pitching or hitting for that matter, Michael. And, you know, the Astros, you know, we saw Harold throw a great game the other night. You know, and certainly, as you said, Bud Norris, they've got some talent on their pitching staff and some young pitchers that really have a chance to be really good. But collectively, you know, there's just far too many base runners. Far too many advantages and giveaways so far in the first month for the Astros pitching staff. Doug Brocail, the pitching coach right there, he's been on that horn a lot in the first month of the season. And that's what's got to improve. You know, when you judge a pitching staff, you look collectively. And you look at simple things. How many base runners are you giving up? How many free passes? That's what WHIP's all about. Walks plus hits per innings pitched per 9. Innings pitched.
And a good WHIP is 1 or under.
Well, right now the Cincinnati Reds lead the league, or have the lowest WHIP, walks plus hits, at 1.15. The Astros have the highest, as I mentioned, at 1.63.
So the major league leader is over 1 then.
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Right now it is.
Because great pitchers usually their whip's about 1.
Well, that is outstanding rate. Yes, and what that equates to is over 1.5 base runners per inning for the Astros this year. Every inning, they're close to 2 base runners every inning. A little under 2 base runners.
Boy, the Astros are expecting a bunt because Pena was charging in, and Stewart had no intention of bunting. He did not run the hands up. He steps out and looks at Rob Thompson. See what's on.
It's a veteran playing first base right there, Pena. And, one of the best plays that can be done here, as Don Zimmer loved, and Pena's looking for, is the safety squeeze. The runner at third doesn't break with the bunt. He waits. And if Stewart can lay it down the first base line, he can move 2 runners.
He could not hold up in the count 0-2. Jim Joyce said he went around.
And Chris Stewart does have a bunt single in this series as well, so they know he can do it. That's what Pena has to guard against. If Stewart pulls up, if he can bunt it down the first base line, you move the runner from first to second, and the runner from third can score.
Breaking ball, strike 3. Stewart down looking. One away. So Bo Porter is going to go to the bullpen. They'll bring on the lefty to face Ichiro. Stick around. Yankees Prius plug-in. Go to Yankees.com/Prius. So Stewart strikes out looking with runners on the corners, nobody out. Now they turn it over to Wesley Wright. We saw him yesterday. And it's a lefty on lefty move with Ichiro due up. 14th game for Wright. Ichiro today tripled, beat out an infield single, and then had a high fly ball to right.
Ichiro in a spot here to make a good night, a great night.
Count 1-0. Third baseman Dominguez in. Pena holding on Overbay at first. They're halfway between second and short. Count 1-1.
Kind of plays into Ichiro's hands here, you know, with the base runners and the third baseman in. Because Ichiro's so good at shooting the ball the other way, especially lefty on lefty. Astros with the platoon advantage here, but Ichiro getting a break defensively. I guarantee you he's looking to the left side there. If Wesley stays away from him, he can shoot that ball right in the hole with the third baseman in that far.
Wright delivers. And he can't throw a strike to Ichiro. It's 3-0. Right down the middle, 3-1. We've seen both of them in this series. Travis Blackley, the lefty, and Reiner Cruz, the righty. Caught the outside corner. Now the count full.
Good pitch from Wesley on 3-1. Sweeping slider on the outside corner. Now do you double up on 3-2? Ichiro just saw a good one. Can you throw another one?
Soft ground ball going to be tough to turn two. There's one. Run scores. And there's two, but the run does count. And his helmet stayed on, so that's a bonus as the Yankees take a 5-4 lead after 6 innings. It wasn't your typical double play, which would mean that the run wouldn't score. He got caught in a rundown, Overbay did. And because the run scored before he got tagged out, the run counts. As their playoff showdown shifts back to the Windy City for Game 6 against the Bulls. In fact, it's win and go home to Brooklyn for Game 7. Complete game coverage on Yes starts at 7:30 with the Verizon Fios pregame only on Yes. Guys rocking a Brooklyn Nets jacket and a Yankee hat. So Boone Logan now the pitcher of record on the long side as Yankees are leading this one 5-4 on the Cadillac scoreboard. There's a strike to Grossman.
Trying to avoid a hat trick. Already got 2 strikeouts.
Grounded past the diving Nixon into left field. So Grossman picks up his first hit of the night.
Well, no hat trick for Grossman. Just a big hit late in the game here. Top of the order, their best hitter up now. And he's got 2 more tonight. Average up to 339.
He's one of the young players, obviously, on this Astro team, and they are building around him. But they've got some veterans as well. And when you talk to people with the Astros, they say we have to pick the right veterans. We don't just want a veteran here because he's been around a while. We want a veteran who's been around winning situations before, so that can rub off on our young players. So they choose their veterans wisely, like a guy like Carlos Pena, who's on a very good Tampa Bay team. There's a strike.
Well, it is so true. I mean, you could say, well, you know, let's just bring up all the rookies. You know, we're going to clean house. You know, we're going to push the reset button, but you still need some veteran leadership. Carlos Pena, you know, Eric Bedard, who started tonight. I think they were hopeful that he would provide some leadership in the rotation.
This could be 2. There's 1. There's 2. That's a big double play for Boone Logan and the Yanks.
Yeah, it was a good pitch, a good slider down to get this ground ball, and just tailor-made. Got Altuve out in front. Off the end of the bat, hit just hard enough to make it an easy turn.
Here's Jason Castro. And a strike.
You know, one thing the Yankee pitching staff collectively has done well this year, Michael, is they strike out a lot of guys and they don't walk a lot of guys. Their 3.29 ratio of strikeouts to walks is the best in the American League, second only to the Reds in the major leagues.
Count 0-2.
Excellent rate. One thing I think the Yankees will get better at, you know, I look at batting average on balls put in play collectively. The Yankees have given up a 324 average. That's the highest in the big leagues, in the major leagues. That when the ball's put in play, opposing teams are hitting 324 for a batting average. To me, that's going to get better.
Swing and a miss. Stewart gets an angle, and that will do it here in the 7th. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees leading the Astros 5-4, but we're going to stay right where we are to honor America here in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate. And welcome 2 honored guests of the New York Yankees. United States Army Staff Sergeant David Nieves, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And New York Army Reserve National Guard Joel Abel-Love, who served in Operation Enduring Freedom. The Yankees would like to say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Realizing that potential when he was still a high school kid on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I hope he's okay. But we'll await word, and maybe on the post-game show, Bob will know by then. Cadillac scoreboard, we know the Yankees are leading the Astros 5-4.
Yeah, I mean, just a remarkable story. Such a nice story to hear. I mean, the kid was hitting 500-foot home runs when he was 16, 15 years old. Can't miss prospect, and fulfilling the dream and also the expectations as well.
Wesley Wright is still out there. Yankees scored the go-ahead run on a double play ground ball by Ichiro in the sixth, so they'll try to hold on to that. This series has certainly been a little bit tougher than the Yankees would have maybe anticipated coming in. First game wasn't even close as Andy Pettitte struggled, and the Yankees lost 9-1 yesterday. Astros battled down to the end where the Yankees had to bring in Mariano Rivera, but the Yankees won that one, and now they're up 5-4 trying to take the series.
I kind of started it last inning, Michael, with my evaluation of the Yankee pitchers as a staff so far through the first month. You know, one of the things that a lot of people look at in sabermetrics is batting average on balls put in play, because a lot of times that can be that's sort of the luck factor, where the balls hit.
Take a look at the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 5-4 Yanks, 5 runs on 7 hits. The Astros 4 runs on 9. Cano with a home run. Francisco had a home run. First is the Yankee, first Ribby, and Carlos Pena always gives the Yankees trouble. 2 for 2, Ribby and a run scored. So you're expecting those numbers to come down to the mean?
Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. You know, it's classic regression to the mean. What's your average over long sample, you know, large sample sizes, and the Yankees pitching staff is giving up a high batting average on balls put in play, and to me that number is going to come down. I think their pitching staff has the potential to even get better, and they've been good through the first half of the season. They're 4-0 in one-run games. Got a one-run game right here. Talk about the Baltimore Orioles last year and their record in one-run games. That was a direct correlation to their pitching staff and their bullpen. Yankees have that potential. Mariano at the back end of the bullpen, as good as ever. 10 for 10 in April. Jabba looks better, getting his arm strength back.
Grounded up the middle. Altuve backhands and fires to first, and they get Cano for the second out. Cano got Canoed right there, as Robbie does that to a lot of players.
Altuve, all in one motion, easily gets Cano. No hesitation. Makes it look easy. It's one of the things about baseball. Plays like that great players make look so easy. That wasn't easy.
David Robertson getting ready. Gave up a couple of runs last night. And there's a strike to Vernon Wells. Pitch outside.
Now, sometimes, Michael, when you look at batting average on balls in play for hitters or pitchers, you look at the line drive rate, because the line drive produces the most hits and the highest batting average. The Yankees' line drive rate collectively from a pitching staff is only 20%, which is pretty decent. Maybe league average, right around league average.
There's a line drive, and there's a base hit. First hit for Vernon Wells tonight.
He's hit a lot of line drives so far this year. And once again, his approach. Ball away, right back up the middle, not trying to pull that pitch. Just a solid approach from Vernon Wells, and the point of contact right there. So in other words, Michael, the Yankees pitching staff's collective batting average on balls in play is abnormally high right now, this early in the season. I believe that's going to come lower. I think the Yankees pitching staff has a chance to be one of the best in the league. And they already have performed very well.
Here's Hafner against Wright. Count 1-0.
The best pitching staff so far, Detroit. Verlander leading that staff, even though they've had problems at the back end of games, and Valverde's now closing. But they're going to be tough to beat in the Central. Detroit, with that lineup and their pitching to match it. Sanchez looks like a real find. A lot of people talking about his contract and all his potential over the years. Maybe he's finally going to be that type of pitcher. Frontline type starter. Fister's back, throwing the ball well this year for Detroit.
The 1-0 could not hold up. 1-1.
Give you an example. The Baltimore Orioles pitching staff collectively has a .263 batting average against. That's really abnormally low. That's the lowest in the big leagues. I also believe that's going to regress to the mean and come up. I think the Orioles pitching staff has kind of overachieved to a certain extent so far.
You know what's weird though about the Orioles, David, is last year they played against the mean the whole year. I mean, no one's supposed to win that many extra inning games. No one's supposed to win that many one-run games. You're supposed to be closer to the mean, and they just blew the mean out of the water. So maybe they do it again. Who knows?
Quite possible. There's always exceptions to the rules. Yankees are 4-0 in one-run games so far this year. When you're winning one-run games, you're closing them out when you do get that one-run lead. And Johnson with the Orioles has been on a run.
Strike 3. Hafner down looking. In the 7th, no runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the 8th inning. It's a tight one. 5-4 Yankees lead. Chevy player of the game, you have to visit votechevy.com. Results will be revealed in the post-game show. Well, the Yankees will try to enact their formula here as they bring in David Robertson to throw the 8th inning. Yesterday, David served up a 2-run home run to Chris Carter. And that's why his ERA jumped. When you're a short reliever, one bad inning and your ERA jumps. Hyundai scoreboard 5-4, Yankees over the Astros, and he'll face Pena, Carter, and Martinez.
Notice Robertson only 2 walks so far this year.
And a strike.
Simply put, Michael, the Yankees match up well perennially. Look at this run they've had over the last couple of decades, really. The formula offensively has been get a lot of walks and don't strike out. Get on base and do some damage when you do get on base. The pitching, just the opposite of that. Strike out guys and don't walk guys.
Seems like a pretty simple formula. I guess it's hard to find those players.
Easier said than done, but that's what you strive for. You want pitchers that don't walk a lot of guys and have the ability to miss bats, and you want your hitters just the opposite. Get on base and don't strike out.
Swing and a miss like that. They have 2 guys back-to-back in the lineup that strike out a lot, Pena and Carter.
Robertson, that great curveball that he has, that he's, to me, Michael, it's sort of a kind of a situation with Robertson is how to use that great curveball, because his fastball is so good and he gets so many swings and misses with his life, as you see the great Mariano Rivera starting to crank it up. I think Chris Stewart's done a good job with David Robertson and trying to get him to utilize that great curve a little more. But when you're in for 1 inning and you have a great moving fastball, it's hard to get to that curveball.
Good fastball right there, 1-1. One and 2.
Look at Stewart setting up right there, and just the bottom drops out of that curveball. Tight spin. And notice how Chris Stewart sets up. He's a tall guy, probably 6'5". Look at the spread.
And he hit the spot. 2 away.
Chris Stewart really works hard back there. Look at this guy's 6'5", and he really spreads those knees out and holds that target right there. Much better defensively than he's been given credit for. Just a great target. Look at him hold that glove right there.
He keeps hitting it.
A little bit unconventional. We talked to John Flaherty, our colleague, and who also was an excellent big league catcher, talked about most catchers will drop the glove in the middle of the delivery and then give the target back. Not Stewart. There's the target, and he ain't moving it. Watch the leg spread. Really spread out, get low, and hold that glove right where he wants it.
Good velocity today for Robertson, 94 miles an hour. Two and 2.
See, this is one that Chris Stewart's going to steal. That's borderline down, and the way he caught that ball so firmly and solidly got that strike call.
One burner to second. Cano. And that will do it. 1-2-3 inning for David Robertson. And he has a lot to do with it. That man, Chris Stewart. By injuries, every misstep you hold your breath, and David Robertson looks okay right there. But let's watch his final pitch. What'd that look like, David? Turn of the ankle?
Yeah, a little spin out on the land leg. You know, when you land, there's such a long stride, and you could see as he kind of spun out to try to cover first base there if needed. Just probably a little tweak on the ankle. Just guessing, not sure, but it's easy to do with your land leg. And spikes dug into your hole where you land.
Hyundai scoreboard 5-4. Yankees lead here in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Gardner, Nunes, and Overbay against Wesley Wright. Yankee lineup is set up in a way that if you have lefties in the bullpen that can give you a couple of innings, you can really take advantage. There are so many lefties. There are very few answers right-handed on the bench that you bring in a lefty, he's going to see a lot of left-handed batters. That one's looped into left field. Did he make the play? No, he did not. So a base hit for Gardner.
We'll get a good look here. The dive, and that's easily on the ground. Good effort, though. And kept him in front of him to keep Gardner at first base. This could have easily got by, and Gardner would have been off to the races.
So Porter is going to bring in the righty to face Nunes when you have Overbay on deck. We'll see how this works out. After that last out, gets the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Kenny Singleton have complete analysis of tonight's finale, including highlights from around baseball. Plus, Jack Curry will get the reaction from the clubhouse, and also Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. All right, so we have a new right-hander on, and it is Hector Ambriz. 13th game.
Good control, a lot of hits. 20 hits and 13 in the third.
Nunes has walked, grounded to third, and doubled to left and scored. And that double to left and that run, that's right now the difference in this game as the Yankees lead 5-4, bottom of the 8th.
Pretty good matchup here with Castro catching and Gardner at first. Castro's thrown out 14 to 17 runners this year so far. Gardner just 2 for 4. See how the Yankees want to play it. Not sure if you try to bunt Nunes here, especially with a 1-0 count. But Gardner was aggressive in his last effort. He went on the first pitch, but we've seen him kind of hesitate and wait for the right moment. Nice big lead.
That got Castro. Might have gotten Corey Blazer.
Right down the middle and fouled straight back.
Both.
Double whammy. Ricochet.
Pitch out. Now a throw to first. Gardner gets back.
Trying to give Castro a chance because he can throw, and Gardner not biting, but you better get back. And he does. Good little guessing game going on here between the Astros bench and Brett Gardner's legs. We'd love to see Brett Gardner get to second base with Nunes still up and a chance to move him to third.
Playing catch with Pena in the crowd of 34,117. I'm loving it.
Well, not a particularly good move either. I mean, we saw David Phelps pick somebody off first base with a lightning quick move. This is just sort of disrupting rhythm type stuff.
There he goes. Pitch out. Throw to second. Not in time. So they guessed right. But Gardner got in. Third stolen base for Gardner.
It'll take some guts to pitch out twice in a row to run the count to 3-1, but Gardner, big lead, good jump. Outruns the pitch out.
Now, you just being kind, does it take guts, or is it not a smart move to pitch out 2-1?
Well, yeah, they guessed right. It didn't pay off for him, but now you got a chance to, with the 3-run count, you got your pitcher in the hole.
Tries to bunt. Fouls it off. It certainly goes against the grain. I mean, you usually expect to pitch out on 1-1, 1-2. But 2-1, you're putting your pitcher in a big hole. Now it's 3-2.
And they guessed right. They did. The pitch out wasn't the best of pitch outs. Castro had to reach back towards the plate to get it, so that slowed him down a bit. But really good sign from Gardner there because he got a big lead and a good jump. That's his third stolen base on the year. They expect maybe 50 or so from him.
Swing and a miss. That's not a good at bat for Eduardo Nunes. Not much done there. Doesn't move the runner over. Here's Overbay. 1 for 2 with a walk. Good breaking ball.
We noted how good Overbay's been against right-handed pitching this year. One of the Yankees' best hitters. Well over 330 batting left-handed against the right-handed pitching so far. Just 1 for 25 against left-handed pitching. So right man in the right spot. Try to tack on a run here and give Mariano Rivera an extra run to work with.
down 2-1.
And if I'm on the mound here, I'm pitching around Overbay, Michael. You know, with first base open, you can set up a double play. You got Chris Stewart on deck. I'm surprised they just don't go ahead and walk him here.
Runner goes. Breaking ball is a strike, and he steals third. Picked a good pitch to run on the breaking ball.
Yes, he did. Good walking lead, off speed. Not much Castro can do there. Once again, Brett Gardner just outruns it.
Well, that forces the Astros to bring the infield in. This is how close it was at third. Not too close. Interesting to note that Gardner always wears that blue mitten type guard on his hand so he doesn't jam his hand on slides, but he doesn't have that on today. He's going with batting gloves. Two. Did he go? No, he did not. So a walk to Overbay. And that puts runners on first and third for Chris Stewart. Now, we mentioned this earlier, and this is a really good combination to do it. You've got a fast runner at third. You've got a guy who can handle the bat. A safety squeeze might be something they could do, and maybe that's what they're talking about on the mound right now.
It's a perfect spot for it right here. Way to counter that, and what Bo Porter's talking about is the corner infielders. And of course, on the other side, Robbie and Stewart, Rob Thompson, the third base coach, talking over what they're going to do. Just in case there's any lip readers in the house, cover the mouth. Which is your favorite thing, isn't it, Michael?
I don't get it. I mean, there are a lot of employees on teams, but I don't know if they employ lip readers. Might be a good investment, but most guys cover their mouth now. So the speedy Gardner is at third, and you've got Overbay at first. One man out. Yankees looking to build on his 5-4 lead, bottom of the 8th inning. Infield at double play depth. No more do we see the fake to third, throw to first anymore. That's not allowed. It's a balk now.
Is doing is not really worried about obviously Overbay at first. He's trying to see if Stewart's going to tip his hand and square. That's what the bench is doing. They're calling for him to throw to first just to see if they can, like a poker player looking for a tell or a tip, if Stewart kind of flinches and gives away the bunt.
There's a strike.
Say one thing about manager Bo Porter. He's got one of the best game faces going of any manager in the game.
But the other bench also tries to pick up in situations like that. If there's a squeeze on, the third base runner also has to show that he got that sign. There's got to be a return sign from both. So you got one guy watching one player, another guy watching another. So the bench has it all scoped out. They thought it was on there as they pitched out. So a little game of cat and mouse going on. Now, usually the thinking is after pitch out is a good time to do it. But then, since this is a team that pitched out on 2-1 twice in a row, they might pitch out again.
Well, I think what the Yankees would be thinking here is not suicide squeeze, but safety squeeze. The difference being is that Gardner won't break until the ball's down.
Well, you could forget about the bunt now as it's 1-2.
Although it was Stewart who got an 0-2 bunt single the other night with nobody on base.
Nice block there by Castro.
Brett Gardner has now doubled his stolen base total on the year here in one inning. Just missed inside. Hembries has pretty good stuff. It's a good variation between that 94-mile-an-hour fastball and that upper 70s curveball.
Infield comes in. Now the Yankees have to make the decision. Do you send Overbay? Because Stewart does strike out. You send Overbay and you run into a double play, then you take the bat out of the hand of Ichiro.
A little bit of overkill there from the Astros bench. Overbay's got no lead at all. 2 strikes on Stewart.
Grounded to third. And they just get one as Dominguez ran Gardner back to the bag. By bringing the infield in there, they lost a chance at a double play.
Well, that's exactly right, because nobody's there to cover the bag if you want to turn it. So you've got to cut down Gardner, make sure he goes back, and take the sure out at first. And good job by Gardner. So now you get 2 men in scoring position with 2 outs.
Now, of course, the infield will back up, and they're going to intentionally walk Ichiro, and they'll take their chances with Jason Nix. That puts a lot of pressure on Ambriz to throw strikes because there's no place to put Nix.
I thought that was the right play, too, from Joe Girardi. Rather than put on the contact play with Brett Gardner on third, they gave him the option, just hold. A lot of managers will choose to put the contact play on, which means when the ball's hit on the ground anywhere, you run right on contact and take your chances. And Brett Gardner would have been out and off the base pass, and you would have had first and second with 2 outs, as opposed to now Overbay on second, and Ichiro loads him with an intentional walk.
And with the infield in, David, you kind of take away the urgency to run on contact because there's very little chance they're going to turn a double play. So you'd rather keep your guy at third. So now the bases are loaded. And now we'll bring up Nix. A bad night for the New York Knicks as they lost to the Celtics, forcing a Game 6. Let's see if it's a better night for Jason Nix. He started off well with an RBI single in the first, but this one could really go a long way toward putting this game away. Good breaking ball.
Yeah, we don't really want to start talking about New York and Boston teams in 3-0 leads, do we?
No, nope. It had never been done before in baseball. It happened, and it's never been done in basketball. And it's only a Game 6, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Back in Boston for Game 6.
Yep. The 0-1. Good pitch on the outside corner. 0-2. Filthy.
This is more of the slider at 85 miles an hour. A little tighter, shorter break. Couldn't have been thrown better.
Boy, you got to like his stuff. 94 with the fastball, 74 with the breaking ball, the curve, and then about 85 with the slider. Like the Rolling Stones. Covers the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s.
Still going, right?
And still going.
Mick Jagger's still out on tour somewhere.
Gardner is at third. Overbay at second, and Ichiro on first. 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Yankees holding on to a 5-4 lead. Ambrice is really right on the border of a balk what he does with that front leg when he comes to a set. Did you notice that too, David?
As long as he does it the same way every time, umpires generally will let you get away with it.
Kind of flexes that knee.
Part of your natural delivery on every pitch.
Right there, that second one. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. And the Yankees do not cash in. No runs a hit. No errors, and 3 men left on base. Astros will try to do it against Mo. Set against the A's Friday night, And that will close out this 10-game homestand. They'll welcome the always tough Oakland A's to the stadium. Coverage will start at 6 with the Audi batting practice today's show. Then the Tri-State 4 pregame. And then, of course, the game only on Yes. So Mariano had a perfect April. 10 for 10. Save opportunities, converted. And now he'll try to start May by closing out a 5-4 game right here. The numbers on Mo, good as always. 10 in the third innings, 9 hits, just 1 walk and 11 strikeouts. 43 years old, missed 5 months last year with a really bad knee injury, and doesn't seem as if he has missed a beat. And it'll be the bottom third of the Astros order against Rivera. Barnes, Dominguez, and Gonzalez as the Yankees holding on 5-4. Mo got 1 out yesterday, the final out, to close out that game. Now he's got to get 3 as Barnes swings at the first pitch. Barnes picked up a ribby in the 4th inning on that fielder's choice, a sac bunt in the 6th. He struck out in the 3rd. Struck out looking. And the tying run is on base as he laces a single to right field. You know, we saw Brett Laurie do it against the Blue Jays, David. People do go that way if that cutter is up and away. That's the only way to attack it.
Yeah, and I don't think Mariano got that where he wanted to, but Barnes has been impressive. He's had good at-bats this whole series.
Let's see if Dominguez will bunt. Does not. Now, there's an old baseball adage. You don't go for the tie on the road, you go for the win. I'm not sure I always buy into that. You got to tie the game first.
It's certainly true. I think, considering that, you know, the Astros do use a lot of metrics, you'd probably rather put on a play, a hit and run, rather than a bunt.
There he goes, runner goes, and that one is line, and caught by Cano, and that'll be a double play. Nice play by Cano, and the Astros being aggressive run into the double play. And Bo Porter has that hang with him look.
Well, it is the hit and run, and that's just tough luck.
And on Yes Rivera, it is an easy double play. So the Astros down to their final out. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. And a strike. And another strike. So they're down to their final strike. And the Yankees win it 5-4. Rivera strikes out Gonzalez, and the Yankees, in a very hard-fought 3-game set, take 2 out of 3 from the Houston Astros.
Look at Stewart setting up high. Mariano Rivera with an unhittable pitch.
And the Astros take their 20th loss of the year. They're 8-20. The Yankees now 7 games over 500 at 17-10. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy Player of the Game. We've got an award to give out, and then the postgame with Bob Lorenz, Ken Singleton, and, of course, Jack Carson. A lot going on, a lot to talk about. Yankees hold on against the Astros 5-4 on Yes.